Hello everybody. This is a video on using terminology in Memoq. I'm going to look at how to make a term base with default settings, how we can take a basic term base in Excel and import it into Memoq. So when we have made a project, we have this view, the project home, and we can come to term bases and we can either right click here or we can click here to make a term base. So give it a name. Now this particular project has the languages English and Portuguese, so they are already selected as languages. I could add another language if I wanted to, so that will give me an English, German and Portuguese term base. Here it says new term base defaults, and for now I just want to confirm that for English the default options are matching, 50% prefix, the case sensitivity is permissive, and it's the same with German and Portuguese. So let's make the term base. We can see down here, of course, it's just been made, so there are no entries. Now let's make a short glossary in Excel. And I'll just save this. Now, by the way, notice we're going to put this now into Memoq, but we don't have to close it. When you put files into Memoq, you have to close them, but it's not necessary to do that with an Excel glossary. So let's come back to Memoq. This is how we put an Excel glossary into a term base in Memoq. We right click and choose import terminology, or we can come up here and do it as well. We get the file, which in this case is called num1, and we get this screen. Now, just a tip, where possible, I always find it good to try and open this box out. Sometimes it can help. What we can see is, we can see the contents of our Excel glossary, which is essentially two columns, one with English and one with Portuguese. And these columns have a header, or cabeçalho, which says ENPT. The advantage of that is each column is a field, and we label the field EN and PT. And because EN is understood as an abbreviation for English, Memoq will suggest that we import this column, this field, as terms for the English language, and import this column as terms for the Portuguese language. And that's all we really have to do here. So I click on OK. Now let's see, what we can see down here is the entries have become 4. I want to look inside and see what the change is. So I can either click here, Edit, or I can right click and click on Edit. And here we can see that we've got the 4 terms. Just out of interest, if we were to remove this line, and then try and import this, there's no header now. What would happen is, oh, by the way, when you open to edit a term base, it opens a tab. Just like translation, we have a tab here. If we want to use this, we have to close it. So let me go back to the term bases. Let me do the same import terminology operation. Now, what we will see is this time we just get FO and F1. Memoq has recognized that there are still two columns of data, but it doesn't know anything about them, so it just labels the first column F0, then F1, and so on. It doesn't have any idea what FO is, so we have to say this is a term column for English, and F1 is a term column for Portuguese. And then we would import, and it would be the same action. Now, let's move on now to the second action.